This is reactions to actions. Hey guys, so I'm doing another reaction to Black Discoveries, one of their videos on YouTube. It's titled White Farmers Are Panicking While Black Farmers Stay Silent. So let's go ahead and get into it. Yeah, this is just showing you the Black farmers' history, just continuing my video on the reaction of Tiffany's farm and how far Black farmers has come, or the lack of progression, not on the Black farmer side, but just on systematic racism. Let's get into it.
Have you noticed that there's one group that has not made any noise or made videos complain about Trump's policies hurting them or their business? Black farmers.
Right now, a lot of white farmers are scared. They're struggling with new rules, losing money, and blaming the government. Some of them are even crying out for help. But you don't hear much from black farmers. Why? Because we already know the game.
Baby, you know why? Because black farmers already know the struggle. This is not anything new to them. Black farmers are not new to this. They are true to this. They've always had to make a way out of no way, okay? Because they didn't have the support that they needed. But baby, one thing for sure, black people gonna figure something out. They're going to figure something out. Hello. They're going to figure something out.
For years, black farmers have been left out on purpose. The system was built to push us out. Our land was stolen. We were denied loans. We were shut out of programs that white farmers use.
Absolutely. And this is something that really bothers me, but it is what it is. There's a lot of things that, black people as a whole, not just black farmers, but black people as a whole has worked for without support and has overcome. But because of systematic racism, they've erased the true history of how much we've contributed to the United States of America. They've tried to bury the history to try to make it seem like black people are, beggars, lazy, thieves. In all actuality, when you look back in history, who are all of those things? Just being honest. Don't take my word. Just look back in the history.
Used to grow rich. So now, when Trump's policies or government changes hurt white farmers, we don't feel the shock the same way. Why? Because we were never included in the first place.
Absolutely. It was actually the opposite. We were excluded. Laws were made to exclude us from benefiting from anything. But my God, today, did it stop us? My God, did it stop us? Hello, we're still here by the grace of God. Hello.
Have you noticed that there's one group that has not made any noise or made videos complain about Trump's policies hurting them or their business? Black farmers. How many videos have you seen of black farmers, excuse me, making videos going, oh, I'm going to lose my farm because Trump cut off benefits. I'm going to lose my farm.
Baby, it's another day to them. It's another day to the black farmers. Like, we're not saying nothing because it doesn't affect us because we weren't included in the first place. So that's why they're not panicking or complaining. Just being honest.
Farm because Department of Agriculture no longer gives me subsidy. How many videos have you seen of black farmers doing that? That's because black farmers have.
Baby, not gonna lie, I haven't seen any. Not saying that there's not any out there. I just haven't seen any. Okay.
Historically, till this day, been excluded from all government subsidies. So right now, every white farmer is learning how to survive the same way black farmers have been surviving. Like I said, what Trump was gonna do.
And this what really gets under my skin when people say that, oh, you're always bringing racism You always bring in racism up about everything. It's you guys always make it about race. Baby, systematic racism has been woven, has been embedded in the United States of America. So where have you been? We didn't make it about race. The system made it about race. And when people say that, they just want you to shut up and be quiet and let them be racist in peace and do things, evil things to people in peace. That's the only reason why they would say that. Because if you don't know, go back in history. And when I say that it's been woven, embedded into the United States of America, that's how it is. Go back in history. It's there, even though they try to erase it.
Is keeping it real. She's calling out the truth. White farmers are begging for help now. But where was that same energy when black farmers were crying out, losing land and being ignored?
You know, I'm seeing all these.
Baby, one thing I love is a truth teller. Do you hear me? We're not going to sweep anything under the rug. We're going to put it all out in the open. Come on, sister. Let's go.
These videos right now where all these farmers are crying about not getting no help right now. You know what? Let me ask you something. When have you ever heard of a black farmer crying about it? Never.
And that's a word. And baby, they have a word for her. They have a word for her if you don't know. It's called NL. NL. Racist people have a word for her. And that's NL. If you know, you know.
And you want to know why? Because they ain't never got no help in the first place.
Just by her speaking facts. Exposing the truth.
That's right. USDA's literally admitted to discriminating against black.
They sure did. They sure did. But then you'll have someone saying, oh, you make it all about race. Baby, what is it about then? If everybody is not playing on the same level, what is it? What is it? Please let me know. I'll wait.
Farmers. And literally black farmers had to sue. Thousands of them. To get what white farmers are handed for free. And fast forward.
Did you hear that? For free. For free. But then they make other minorities feel like they're the leechers. They're looking for a handout. No, it's just that whenever other minorities discover the real truth and try to get a piece of the pie, you guys are just so mad. You are so angry. Why is that? That's called that greed spirit. That greed, baby. That greed. Get that greed up out your heart. Okay? Let's continue.
Forward to today. All these farmers crying that they can't get no help. You see, black farmers, they've been struggling. Y'all just now feeling what they've been feeling for over 100 years.
Miss Ma'am, you're over there preaching. I don't know where you are, but Miss Ma'am, you are over there preaching. Let the church say amen. Hello? We are all one in the sight of God. But baby, on this here earth, it's a different story.
Black farmers, they used to own over 19 million acres of land.
Talk that talk, ma'am. Miss Ma'am, talk that talk. Okay? Miss Ma'am is over there talking that talk.
But guess what? Systematic racism, denied loans.
But then you'll have people gaslighting minorities, saying that it's in our heads. It's not true. What are you talking about? You can't tell someone who's black they wake up black, they go to sleep black, how they're treated in this country or in this world, as a matter of fact, because it's just not America that demonstrates racism. It's all over the world. Whether you want to admit it or not, it's the entire world. But let's go ahead and get back to Miss Ma'am, because she going in.
Shady politicians and legal loopholes wiped them all out. Yeah.
And that's what I mean when I say that it's woven. It's in the DNA of the United States of America. It's been built on racism. Race is always going to be a thing unless it's continued to be exposed. You cannot hide something with darkness. You cannot expose something with darkness on top of darkness. The only way that you can expose something is with light and exposure and awareness, people. So by you not talking about it doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. It's just going to keep happening because no one is bringing it to the forefront. But Miss Ma'am over here preaching.
And now they're 1% of America's farmland. When the government finally tried to pass relief for the black folk back in 2021, white farmers sued to block it, claimed it was reverse discrimination.
Oh no, we don't want you guys getting the same kind of funding that we're getting. We don't want you guys to be on the same level as us. So we're going to gaslight you and do reverse psychology. Did Miss Ma'am not just say that? Miss Ma'am, you over there preaching to the choir.
Make that make sense. So, next time you see folks complaining about farm aid, why don't you ask them, where's the help for the black farmers? Ask them why their struggle is just now important when others have been suffering.
Baby, they will never. They will never, unless they look at themselves in the mirror and realize that privilege is real. That white privilege is real. They're going to never.
For centuries.
Let's go even deeper. This brother is about to break it all the way down. From stolen land to blocked resources, he lays out how the system has always been set up against black farmers.
Period. But not just black farmers, but this video is based on black farmers, but it's as a whole in the community of black people. It's a whole. Because baby, my ancestors did not get their 40 acres and a mule. Hello. I'm ready to collect my ancestors' 40 acres and y'all could keep a mule. Give me a car. Paid out. Hello? Anybody there?
The U.S. government gave 270 million acres of land away for free. Guess who didn't get any? That's right. After the Civil War, 3,500 black families managed to claim about 650,000 acres through the Homestead Act. Now that may sound like a lot, right? Well, that's...
Not really. Not when you think about the whole grand... Yeah, not really.
when you realize that white settlers got 270 million acres. Okay?
What you say now? 270 million. But they say privilege is not a thing. They say privilege is not a thing. Okay.
Now, the way I figure that, that's about a 400-to-1 difference. To paraphrase Martin Luther King, it wasn't just the land. The government built land-grant colleges to teach white farmers how to work the land. Then they sent out experts to help them succeed.
Baby, all the resources set up to succeed, okay? Set up to succeed. Hello? Privilege.
And then they gave them low interest loans and subsidies to keep white farmers growing. Black farmers, they were just left to figure it out on their own. Here's the wild part. You see, after the Civil War and the Homestead Act, black folks made it happen without government subsidies. And by 1910,
Back to making a way out of nowhere. Back to making a way out of no way.
black folks owned 16 million acres of land, about 14% of all of the farmland in the U.S. And here's the amazing thing, right? By 1910, that 16 million acres, that was the top part. That was the apotheosis of black farming. Think about the color purple, where all those black folks own land. They own that 16.
Oh, this brother is teaching. Class is in session, okay? Class is in session. Come on, sir.
16 million. Now that's where this chart comes in. Now you see this blue line? That's what white farmers got for free. Okay?
Did you hear that? For free. For free. It wasn't necessarily free because there was a lot of blood shed for that land, but I get what you're saying. Okay?
Now, the Homestead Act is the second line. This is what black folks got. Okay? That's the
Zero.
That's the handouts that black folks got compared to those handouts. All right? Now,
Oh, yeah. Love say that. Always looking for a handout. Well, who's getting the handouts, baby? Because we're not. We're not. Hello? One thing about it and two things for sure. We've got it out the mud. We've got it out the mud with obstacles against us. Hello?
now, because black folks make a way out of no way,
Listen, when I say it's embedded in our culture to make a way out of no way. Did he not just say make a way out of no way? I don't know this man. But it's in our heritage. Do you hear me? It's in our culture to make something out of nothing. My.
this green line, that's what black farmers had in 1910. Now, here's the part that always makes me mad. 16 million acres of land, 14% of all the land that was farmland in America. That was 1910. Think the color purple and how Mr. and all these.
But when you're ignorant, which they want us to be ignorant, you'll say the thing like, you make everything about race. Baby, call a thing like Iyanla Vanzant states. Call a thing, okay?
These folks had land, all right? You know what the last line is? That's what black farmers own today.
Wow.
About 4 million acres of land.
Wow.
Literally, there have been reports that
Wow.
over 90% of black farmers get rejected for subsidies and loans. So that means that a black farmer essentially can't make money picking cotton. Make it make sense. There's always one factor.
Hello? This is for the people in the front and the back who wants to just ignore history. Now, who's lazy and don't want to work? Who's looking for handouts? Well, you don't necessarily have to look for handouts when they're giving to you. They find you. The handouts find you, baby. But there's no handouts over here. There's none. That's why I've never got offended when people say black people are lazy. Because if you know the history, then you know the truth. Baby, you can't tell me my people are lazy when you stole the land that was not yours. You stole the land which was not yours. This is God's creation, so the land should be everybody's. Hello. It should be everyone's. but you stole land from people who were already on the land, said it was yours. You captured people, another whole ethnicity group of people, treated them like property to do your work for you. Now, who's lazy? Who's lazy? Listen, you cannot fool somebody who knows the history. Baby, it look like you're lazy. It looks like you're a thief and you're lazy. Hello? You can't call somebody lazy who you capture a whole other ethnicity group of people, brought them on to land that belonged to someone else, and got them to do your work and treated them like property. Who's lazy? I will wait. Who's lazy? Because all I know is if I want something done, baby, you do it yourself, okay? Do it yourself. So who's lazy? Let's continue here. Let's continue.
Factoid that makes me think, man, black folks, we are awesome. The one person, one of the few people who made any money or any earnings off of the Homestead Act, black folks, was a man named Oscar Michaud. So now for those of you who know anything about film, Oscar Michaud essentially invented black film. And he used his earnings to support a thriving black film industry for about 30 years in Hollywood. So don't tell me that land ain't important and black folks owning land.
And he brought this filmmaker up, which reminds me of, let me give y'all some homework. Where the original cowboys come from in film. The original cowboys in film. Look it up. Anyways, let's continue.
Aren't important. Think of all the Oscar Michauds we could have had. I'm your Uncle Sonari. Give your brother a follow.
Now, if you still don't believe the system was designed to shut us out, listen to this.
Listen, let me tell you one thing. This man right here's story he shows how systematic racism is still operating till this day. But they gonna gaslight you and say, they're going to gaslight you and say, why are you making everything about race? Everybody had to work hard. See, that's the trick of the devil right there. No one said nobody didn't have to work hard, but who had to work harder? Who didn't have the system set up for them to win, but still progressing? But God. But God.
This former chicken farmer lays it all out. How they refused to let him pass his farm down to his own family, not because of money, not because of business, but because he's black. They would rather...
This just reminds me of where my ancestors' 40 acres and the mule went. Where's my 40 acres and a mule? This guy is going to show you how it was done. Modern day style, baby.
Hand it to a stranger than let black land stay in black hands.
If people knew what kind of mess was going on just to get a piece of chicken, they would stop eating it.
That's why I don't eat meat. I don't eat meat now. I don't eat meat and I feel fine. I feel just fine. Nothing to the meat eaters, because baby, at one time I was a meat eater. Hello. But I don't eat meat anymore. And this just solidifies my reasoning. But let's continue.
Whatever you do, run from a poultry house. Do not do it. You'll lose your wife. You'll lose your health. You'll lose everything that you have. It's not worth it. Run from a chicken.
Baby, Carlton Sanders said you better run. Lace your shoes up and run.
House. Run. I'm Carlton Sanders, and I'm from Forest, Mississippi. And I was a chicken grower for some 28 years for Cook Foods, and I lost everything I had due to the upgrades and a bunch of guys that didn't like black folks. That's the bottom line.
Listen. Carlton said, I'm going to put it on the plate. Take it or leave it. I I'm telling my truth. I'm putting it on the plate. Take it or leave it. It's there.
I mean, if people knew how much trouble we were having trying to grow these chickens, they would stop eating chicken. I mean, it's just that simple. Because nobody wants to be like I am now. Done lost everything and pitiful looking and talking. And people don't want to do that.
Wow.
But now Tyson and Cook, ooh, it's just like you in hell with those guys. Yeah, I used to.
And this is always why I say, when you see a billionaire, maybe even a millionaire, when you see somebody who's a millionaire, billionaire, trillionaire, whatever you want to call it, they are not squeaky clean. Please believe me. My opinion. They are not squeaky clean. My opinion.
Cry and couldn't stand to come by here because I did everything from scratch. And I'd been here for 30 some years. Had a beautiful garden. You know, everything was just good and perfect. So, you know, therefore, it just made a mess out of things. Have to get out and move somewhere else and relocate. And you know how it is. It was just hard all over. This was my #1 house right here on the Carlton Sanders farm. And I did this for 28 years right here at this farm right.
If you guys don't know, they took his farm. The bank took his farm. These big corporations came in, wanted him to put in these new regulations and rules and all kind of things so he can take a loan out on his farm, because he was about to pay the farm completely off. But then they came up with these new rules and regulations to make him have to spend more money to get more in debt, to never own his land.
Right here. One year, and I would have had everything paid for, from $750,000 down to $50,000. They found out somehow that I'm about to get everything paid for, and they wanted me to do all upgrades, so they would put me back in debt some $500,000, and the bank wouldn't do it. First, the bank was on my side. So we are sick of these chicken farms and the way they operate.
It sounds like they paid the bank off, and the bank got right on track with them, became their partners. They were in cahoots. They did something to that bank. They paid that bank off a significant amount of money, and the banks flipped on Mr. Sanders for his land.
And then all of a sudden, when they got ready to cut me off and kill me, then the bank pulled in with them.
That's why it's very important to know your history, because like I always say, like my mom, dad says, you have to know where you come from to know where you're going. Baby, when they tell you your history, not the history that we don't even know our history back over there in the motherland, baby. They strip that from us. But just the rich history that we have on the United States of America soil, the blood, sweat, tears, and even souls that were lost for this land, baby, you could think what you want to think, but I already know. Hello? I already know.
My son got the money to buy the place, and once he got the money, they wouldn't let him have it. The man told me, said, well, he told my son first.
Okay, so his son got the money to pay for the land so that it would not foreclosure on. Why didn't they take the money? Last time I checked, money green, no matter where it comes from. So why didn't they take his son's money. I know why. Because the land would still be owned by a black farmer. That's why.
First, he said, they trying to put your dad out of there. They sold for $110,000. That's what this guy got it for.
And how much did you have to pay?
I offered him $150.
It ain't about the money, baby. It's not about the money. You listen. So the original family was willing to pay you $150 and you sold it for $110 to a Caucasian. A Caucasian, what does that tell you, folks? You were willing to lose $40,000 because it's not about the money, baby. It's not about the money. Get that through your head. It's not about the money. But look at God. Won't he do it?
It was a racial thing, a black versus white. And if I'd have been a white guy, I never would have went through this.
But a gaslighter is going to say, why are you making it all about race? Why are you making it all about race? The same reason why you make it about race. Why was it? That don't even make sense. None of that makes sense. It doesn't make sense. The math is not mathing to me. You're coming at me with 150,000 buckos. I deny your 150, okay? And I sell it to somebody for 110. Hello, somebody make that make sense. Where is the mathing? Because somebody needs to show me. Hello, somebody needs to sit me down and school me because I don't get it. Where is the mathing?
And they didn't have no mercy on me. And I don't wish this on nobody. And a farmer shouldn't have to go through this, when he's feeding America. He shouldn't have to go through this.
Oh.
Nobody should have to go through what I done gone through.
And this is the thing that we need to expose and put around the world. But see, what's done in the light, baby, what's done in the dark will always come to the light. What is done in the dark will always come to the light.
Like I said, I thank God I'm still living and things as well as it is. And that's just how it is. I'm thankful and blessed.
Baby, one thing about it, you can't take a man's faith, baby. You cannot take a man's faith, and at the end of the day, that's what's really gonna matter. That's what's going to matter, because all of this land is not going to get you into heaven, boo-boo. Hello?
Chicken is the way of life in Mississippi. Now, that's where you're going to find your black guys that on the truck and catching the chicken. It's pretty dangerous because right now, with this corona thing out, these people get sick and die or get sick. They just roll another black guy in his place and tell him to keep on getting up. It's terrible. If people knew what kind of mess was.
And see, Mr. Sanders is speaking my kind of language, which is why I say, don't you exhaust yourself for a company that will replace you in 2.5 seconds. Don't exhaust yourself for a company that will replace you maybe in 0.5 seconds. I'm talking about 2.5, probably 0.5 seconds, baby. My God.
Going on just to get a piece of chicken, they would stop eating it. Cory Booker, Elizabeth Warren, Senator Doug Jones, they wanted to help. So we're trying to get a bill passed as to how we can handle these problems and help other growers not to grow through what I've gone through. I look at it like Martin Luther King and Lewis, those guys.
I mean, I'm glad they're trying to pass a bill, because that was literally, you're black, we don't want you to have all this land, we need to go ahead and give it to a Caucasian, okay? That's all that, I mean, there's no way to cut it up, slice it, and deliver it any kind of way. But because what is the other reason? Especially when you was gonna make $40,000 more. You were going to make $40,000 more, and you're a bank, and you deny the 40,000 and take less? What was the reason? If it wasn't about race, what was the reason?
Guys can do it, I can too. I want to be heard, and I want to be heard from. You know, we were supposed to meet Donald Trump, but he chickened out. He wouldn't do it. He said he didn't think the farmer was having that much trouble. He said because he didn't hear nothing about it. Yeah, just because he don't hear nothing about it.
Trump, why would you hear anything about it? Trump, why would you hear anything about it? You're not a farmer. And you're not black. So you're not going to hear about it. But you're hearing about it now because you've changed laws up that's going to affect the Caucasians. And let me tell you one thing. Nobody is better than nobody, okay? In the eyes of God, we are all one. But baby, you better believe I'm going to speak up when I see something is wrong. And if you call yourself a Christian, because y'all Christians, y'all swear y'all got it all together, but you don't got that together. You see that your brother and sister in Christ, a group of your brothers and sisters in Christ, are getting rolled over and steamed over, and you just keep it moving. That's a problem. Anyways.
That don't mean it ain't happening. You know, it's just tough. And then so many people laughed at me, and then so many people cried, you know. But I did the best.
I'm trying to figure out what was funny. I'm still trying to find out what was funny because he said people laughed at him. What was funny? I don't see anything funny about this situation. It's sad, pathetic, greed, hate, but I don't see anything being funny.
Yes, I could what I had to do, and you know, tried to make it.
Of course they're not going to respond. But baby, I hope all this stealing and dealing you guys are doing, this corporations, I want to know if your money is going to get you into heaven. I want to know if that money of yours is going to get you into heaven. But then they try to say that black people are thieves.
And that right there says it all. They'll do everything they can to keep black folks from owning, building, and passing down what's ours. Not because we can't do it, but because they know we can. From land theft, to denied loans, to flat out refusing to let a man keep his farm and his family, it's all part of the same system. A system that was never made for us to win. But here's the thing, we're still here, still planting.
What did Kendrick Lamar say? They rigged the game. They rigged the game. But baby, one thing about it, and two things for sure. I don't care how much you try to rig the game. You can't rig the game on the creator, which is God Almighty, baby. You can't rig the game on the creator, God Almighty. Okay, then.
Still growing, still surviving. And now we're telling the truth, loud and clear. So if this video moved you, share it, drop a comment. Start the conversation, because the more we speak up, the more we protect what's left, and the more we inspire the next generation to keep fighting. Thank you for watching, and remember to stay woke. See you in the next.
All right, guys, if you made it this far in the video, thank you so much. I appreciate you guys. Let me know your thoughts below. I just wanted to react to the history of our black farmers, and this is things that we need to talk about, things that we need to be, exposed to more, exposing generations to more, because if we don't talk about these things, if we don't expose our history, it's going to get buried, period. Because if you don't know any better, you're going to believe what someone's telling you. But when you know your truth and you know what you're rooted in, and you know where you come from, no one can take that away from you, and no one can trick you into believing that you're nothing, you're lazy, you're a thief. Because run the history back and then come at me. Run the history back and then come at me. All right, guys. Y'all be blessed. Y'all make sure y'all subscribe to Black Discoveries, because it's such a great YouTube channel. They're doing awesome things over there. They're exposing, great things. All right, guys. See you later. Bye.